Good afternoon, YouTubers. Well, not shooting today. It's very windy out there and it's very cold, so I'm trying to stay in bed and keep warm. Got the fire lit early. But most of the guns I've been talking about, the air guns recently, I've been talking about the airsoft, the M16, the MP18, and then there's the 4.5mm BBs. They're more powerful. But we're talking about 300 feet per second here to maybe 450 tops. And we're not allowed in Europe to have the fully auto version of the 4.5mm. That's the attraction with the airsoft, which is the 6mm, because you can get fully auto versions, but they're obviously a lower output. They're much weaker. And the laws vary from country to country as well. For example, in the UK, you are limited to 12 foot-pounds. What does that mean? I hear you say. I know. Because it all depends on. Because I think in feet per second, okay, or meters per second. In the case of an air gun, feet per second. So if I've got an air gun that fires 450 feet per second, that's well within the British regulations. I think 12 foot-pounds equates to around 650 feet per second, something like that. Maybe not that high, I'm not sure. I haven't got a chronograph. There's loads of people who do chrono testing. I don't have a chronograph. So I've got to go off what it says on the box, really, what it says on the tin. And I know a lot of these figures are exaggerated because you can use different size balls, as you've seen, different weights, and different temperatures, different days, different altitudes. And let's not get all anal, because the international standard atmosphere is at sea level 15 degrees centigrade at 1013.2 millibars, okay, and you've got to be consistent with. So we're not going to get anal, we're just going to go off what's written on the box. Now, you've seen this air rifle before. This is a bog standard air rifle with a telescopic sight. Okay, it's a break barrel. He says when you cock it, put your pellet in, shut it, and away you go. And it says on the tin, for this one, this is a Crossman Shockwave. It says on the tin 1,200 feet per second. Okay, which you will notice is more than 600 odd feet per second. So if I lived in the UK, this would have to be on a firearms license, okay, because it exceeds the 12 foot-pounds that were allowed in the UK. But I live in Spain, and in Spain the legal limit is 18 foot-pounds, okay, and I bought that one online in Spain. So as long as you're over 18, you can buy them in Spain. If you live in America, I'm told there's no limit. There's no limit to the power of an air rifle. You can buy anything. You can buy a 50 caliber to drop an elephant or something. I don't know. Whatever's on sale, you can buy it. Okay. There's no rules in America, which is great, because I used to have a firearms license in the 1980s in the UK, and I had a shotgun license as well. Because how it was back in the day, because I'm not current, I don't have a fire, I don't live in the UK anymore. But how it worked in those days, if you wanted a shotgun, you got a shotgun license, and that allowed you to buy and sell shotguns. They didn't really make a note of the serial numbers in those days. You could just buy and sell as long as you got the license. That was it. I think it's got more strict, obviously, these days. And firearms licenses, you could only have so many firearms on a license. You had to name each one that you intended to buy before you bought it, to have it on the license before you bought the gun. You couldn't just have a firearm license and just start buying and selling firearms, because it didn't work like that. You had to name the actual guns, what kind of guns you wanted. For example, 9mm automatic, 357 revolver, 2 or 3 on a bolt action rifle, things like this. You just put them down. 2.2 rifle, 2.2 pistol, 2 of this, 2 of them, and you were limited to 500 rounds of ammunition per caliber. Okay, that's so you couldn't stockpile. You were not allowed to stockpile because they come and do spot checks. They check the serial numbers. Every time you buy a gun, they come and check that the serial number corresponds to their records. So it's, registered firearms. It's that's how it was. But then the law all changed in the UK because some loons went around shooting people, and Michael Ryan was one of them. I can't remember the other guy's name, but it was a Dunblane. Dunblane, he went into a school and just started shooting people, and these were licensed firearms that people owned on a firearms license, and so they just turned around and banned all the firearms, pretty much everything across the board. We all had to hand them in, and that was it really. You were very, very limited. You could still have underlever repeaters, you could have a bolt action rifle, but all the revolvers, all the automatics, they were all gone. I remember handing my Ruger 357 Security 6-inch barrel, beautiful gun. I'd won loads of competitions with that gun, and I had to hand it in, and about a year later I was compensated about £150 for it, which was all I paid for it in the first place. But it didn't matter. It was, they just took everything off everyone because of a couple of idiots that were irresponsible. I mean, irresponsible is putting it very mildly. But yeah, this is what happens in life. I mean, I think nowadays you can get revolvers and things and pistols, but you've got to have a shoulder stock yay long, and the barrel has to be yay long. So you can't conceal it. They didn't think if you were going to kill someone, you wouldn't mind sawing the barrel off, and you can't say I'm not going to kill anyone today, because if I cut the barrel down on my pistol, on the butt off my revolver, it'll nullify my license. You're not interested in that, are you, when you've gone loon and you're going to go around killing people? You're not interested. But you see, these bureaucrats don't think like that. Anyway, so getting back to legalities and things, yes, living in Spain has its advantages because I can have this rifle just being over 18, and it shoots at 1,200 feet per second. That's what it says on the box. So we'll be doing some shooting in the next few days with this. I did zero it in some time ago, so we'll see how we get on with that. So yeah, depending on where you live, you got to stay in within the confines of the law, of course, and it's a lot nicer in Spain. That's another reason I like living in Spain. Plus the sunshine. The sun does shine a lot of the time. It's not been shining particularly much today. It's been windy and grey today, and it was raining this morning, but hey, can't have everything.